Hey everyone, just a quick update here before we pop into the podcast. Um, I got a new recording software which is going to make the quality from this episode on go much better, but this episode in particular had a little bit of a sound issue, so the sound quality, especially for myself, isn't great. But don't worry, upcoming episodes will be far better, and I just didn't want to cancel this episode because there's a lot of good insight on there. So, hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Hi, welcome to the Ready, Set, Activate podcast, your home for all of your active gaming needs. Today, we're doing a deep dive on badges, featuring two top players, Kwispy Koolio and Kool-Aid Jammers.
Graeme, Ed, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Starting off with a voice crack.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. So, since this is our first time meeting, especially I'm meeting you guys are also meeting each other. Let's just start with something fun. If you had to describe your playing style in just 3 words, what would it be and why?
Do you want to go first?
I could try. I'd say quick, careless, and risky.
I can rock with that, actually.
I like it.
Acting without self-preservation. That seems like a very fun way to play. It's also the way I do other things as well, like paintball. I guess for me it would be I don't know if this counts as 2, but you said 3 words. So flashy yet effective. I really like to be stylish with the way I play. But I also try to be effective, right? So it's like I won't be doing a random backflip, right? Would be cool, but I do want to be effective while I do it.
Yeah. And Graeme, you say that you're kind of careless and crazy, but quick. How would you describe your playing style and kind of what makes your playing style kind of like that?
Well, for example, I'd say if I'm playing a game like Hide, I go for a lot of last minute button presses before the eye comes on, or just leaping to hide behind the pillar, stuff like that. Maybe the average player wouldn't go for some of these moves.
Yes.
Yeah, no, totally. I get that.
Yes.
Honestly, that's the way to go, though. Sometimes it can allow you to get to that next level.
Yeah, and it makes it fun, so that's how I roll.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, most definitely, because that's the type of play, that's the type of play that will win you TOC and such too. Because I for instance, for my TOC and Hide, I played it really safe, and that really came at my detriment. So I'm okay, I disregarded the careless, I disregarded the nerf or nothing rule, right? I should have played riskier. But that's the type of stuff that will going for those last minute button presses, because that saves you time, which means more score, right? So at the end of the day, Activate's about speed, going for those risks.
Now that we know a little bit about playing style, how did each of you first get into Activate, and what was the moment that hooked you?
Well, I'd say for me, I think the first time I went was with a couple friends. It was way back when it was first getting popular. I heard grade 5 or 6 maybe. I heard some people talking about it in class, and I was like, oh, what's that? So I went home that night and did a bit of research, and I think I was like, oh, that looks pretty fun. So I hit up some friends, and I think we went a few days later, and it was a good time. So I kind of just kept coming back, and yeah, here we are.
Ed, what about yourself?
For me, I went for a birthday party, actually. A family friend of mine who had a birthday very close to mine, so it was kind of like a joint birthday party. I went to the Burlington location for the first time. That's the only time I've ever went there. It was not at all what I was expecting. I had a lot of fun, right? Because we had a lot of people, so there was okay, who wants to do the high energy group? Who wants to do low energy? And I immediately went with the higher energy group, where we did higher levels for my first time.
Yeah.
But I would say what really hooked me was the moment we got into the laser room. I absolutely love the idea of lasers as a room, especially with the fact, like paired with the fact that you don't have any equipment at Activate aside from your wristband. So it's like normally with laser tag, right? They give you like this whole vest and like everything, and you have to like it's all clunky. But Activate is just you, your friends, of course, and the room. And I went to the laser room and I'm like it knows it knows everything, right? Pretty much. And I'm like I immediately want to go. Like it knows when you hit a laser. It knows when you're like in the wrong place, so you can't like cheese it by going behind you can't cheese Gauntlet by going behind like the thing. Like it knows where you are, and it's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
What would you say
I
is your
guess-
favorite laser game?
Maze. Yeah, Maze and Relay. Mostly because that really encourages you to like move around the room and like go up and over like the lasers. So like that's like my favorite part of lasers, and that's why I like it. Gauntlet, it's like a close third. But it's like with that you're mostly like staying in one place, just trying to dodge them as they come to you.
Totally. Yeah. Graeme, what about you?
Yeah, sorry to almost interrupt there. I forgot to mention
Oh,
you asked like what hooked, and what hooked me into Activate, and I had to say I think I had a pretty similar experience to Ed there. Like Laser, when me and my friends first went, that was like such a cool game. You know, you'd seen in the movies you'd see like spies and stuff going through like lasers to get to wherever, and like I don't know, that concept seems so cool, and to be actually able to like do that with your friends in like a game, that's cool. So I had a similar experience like when I first played that game. I don't know, I think it was just Maze. Yeah, Laser Maze. That was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this is really cool. So yeah.
Laser
Totally.
unites all.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I know. That's totally cool. I know for me, I think like my first kind of like wow moment was like Grid. I don't know why, just because like I'd seen like laser tag, like laser mazes and stuff like that, like in other places. Activate did it really well, don't get me wrong. Yeah, for me, I think way back when I first went, it was like Trench. I think it was a little bit different, but yeah, no, for me it was like Grid and like stepping on the tiles, and like it seems simple now, but at the same time, just like I was like, dang, like really cool. Yeah. All right. Moving a little bit towards the badges here. Do you guys remember the first badge that you ever earned? And do you guys have any story behind it, or was it just kind of like, oh, that was completely unintentional, but what the heck is this?
Personally, I have no idea what first badge I got. I think I didn't know they were a thing until a little later, until a friend told me about them. So I think I had a few by then on accident.
I am completely with Graham on this. I have no idea what my first badge would have been, but after looking at the list, I'm 99% sure it was probably New Store Who Dis, which is the badge that you get when you play at another Activate location. Because like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I started at Burlington, the Burlington location, and that is the first place I went to, and the only time I went to that place. After that, I mostly went to Brampton. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
willing to bet that was
Yeah,
probably the first badge I got.
Totally cool. Yeah, no, that's one thing that's super nice about like the Ontario locations. You guys have, I think, 5 within Ontario?
There's so many, and they're
Like,
all in the GTA.
What?
No kidding. Like for us, it's like even Winnipeg, it's great. There's 2 locations in Winnipeg, but it's like other than that, there's nothing. For me, I live in Saskatoon. The closest one's Regina, which is like 2.5 hours away. The next closest is Edmonton, which is 5.5 hours away. Like it kills me. And then Edmonton has 2, and then Calgary has 1, but there's nothing in BC. And like, oh, it's fate, but I hope that Activate will drop one in Saskatoon soon. But anyways, so you guys both said your first little bit of badges were unintentional. That's completely fair. But what was the specific moment when you realized, okay, like I'm gonna start taking this seriously. I'm gonna start pushing for badges now.
For me, I think the moment I started taking Activate seriously was when I got onto the like top 30 leaderboard at Winnipeg West. That was like, okay, I got onto the leaderboard. I probably am not going to be able to finish all the games yet because there's still a lot left to go. But badges is something I can work towards, and get some progress on. So that's kind of how it went for me.
And I quote, "Wait a minute, these give me stars?"
Nice.
For those that may be new to Activate, stars being the old progression system and how you rank up for rewards before coins were a thing. You reach a certain amount of stars, and you reach a new rank, and then you get a certain reward, like maybe like a keychain or like or like a hoodie or a hat. Very new system, so I'm sure a lot of people are aware of the star system right now. But yeah, when I noticed that they gave me stars, I'm like, I should start going for these a little bit more.
And like now it's kind of like they don't give you stars per badge, but with the new reward system, they actually give you a certain like threshold to get. So 25% of the badges will get you, I think, like a certain amount of coins. I don't remember exactly what it was, but then 50% will get you a certain amount of coins. 75, and then if you get all of the badges, you get 50% off. And we'll touch about that later. But, yeah, it's cool to hear how you guys got into that, and I love how you guys both have different inspirations. So what do you think is the hardest challenge you guys have faced while trying to earn a specific badge?
I would say I still haven't gotten this one yet, but trying to do Gauntlet Plus, after making it to level 10, like I got to the level 10, right? I messed up, and then I looked at the badge again, and I realized, oh, you can't repeat a game. Because the original Gauntlet, it's like you do levels 1 to 10 of a game, without failing, and then I thought Gauntlet Plus was you do the same thing but without losing a life. So I did that, Mega Zones, and then I lost a life, and I'm like, oh, crap. And I checked, and I'm like, oh, I was doing it wrong anyway.
It had to be different. Yeah, exactly.
And then another moment that I kind of have as well, it's not really related to badges specifically, but while I was trying to do Gauntlet 10 of specifically laser, not the badge but the level, right? I ended up so it was like a 1+3, right? And I jumped in between it, and I laid it on my stomach and knocked the wind out of myself and failed the level. That was
That sucks.
yeah, that kind of sucked, but it was really funny to think about.
Oh man, yeah. I just imagine you going to the air, and it's just like you just went in, and you're just like, oh, and then it's like, it's like,
Literally.
Yeah, Graeme, what about you?
So for me, the biggest challenge I faced while going for these 2 badges at once was me and this other player, Sweaty Spaghetti. We went one night for the sole purpose of getting these 2 badges, and we dedicated the whole session to those badges. The 2 badges were Scatterbrained and Omnipotence. And basically, what those are is just completing only level 10s in the whole visit, and also I think Scatterbrained is not repeating any levels at all during your whole time there. And the thing about the Omnipotence one is you're only doing level 10s, but it doesn't specify you actually have to beat any of them, so we kind of just failed, like, I think, all the levels. So not much of a fun session, you can imagine.
Something I'm a little bit curious about though, Graeme. So that's like a very like particular duo of badges to go for. So not only are you doing like only level 10s, but you can't even repeat a game. So did you already have like all the level 10s like already like unlocked?
Well, the thing is since I was going with Sweaty Spaghetti, he already has, I think, like all the badges, or at that point he had all the badges but like maybe 5 or 6. So those were 2 that he needed. So we decided to aim for those 2. And the strategy was, as boring as it was, you do one level 10, you probably fail it, and then you wait 10 to 15 minutes, and then you do another one so that you don't complete them all. So you don't go around the whole facility and then accidentally do one twice. But you can't, how it works is I think you can't wait 20 minutes and not do a game, or else it'll think you've left, and then your session will end. And then we did that for an hour and 15 minutes, and that was It was so much fun. But that's not even the most fun part. Because after we went once, we checked, and we didn't get either badge from that session. So luckily, Soy Spaghetti contacted them, and we both got a free session returned to us, which was great because, we still had kind of some fun messing around in the level 10s. So we decided to use that free session to go back and try one more time to see if we could get Scatterbrained and Omnipotence again. And both the badges didn't work again. And we both were just kind of done with it. So that's how it went. But that's all good because not everything can be perfect. And I think they ended up fixing the badges in the end. I think they're possible to get now. On the bright side, we helped the community of Activate by making them badges able to be get.
Oh, speaking on what Graeme was saying there, so you guys kind of made that game plan, and you were, taking that 15 minutes on and then taking a break and like stuff like that, 15 minutes off. When it comes to badges, do you guys usually go at it with like a specific set strategy of like a badge that you're gonna work on and kind of do that, or you just kind of let it happen naturally and like take a few and just kind of integrate it into your game?
At a point, it's hard to get the badges just naturally. Like, of course, you get a set of like, I don't know, the ones like maybe 10 to 20% of them, like just from just playing. But at a point, it's like some of them are so niche, you have to like go directly for those badges, and you don't have to like necessarily dedicate a whole session towards most of them, but usually you have to plan for them.
I'm mostly with Graeme on this one. Like most of the badges I have are just like kind of organic gameplay. Organic gameplay as in like I just kind of do the levels normally. Like most of the badges you do kind of have to go out of your way, like say like Deja Vu or like the number for numbers. It's like you have to go out of your way to repeat the levels and such. But like those badges for the most part are just like you're just doing the level normally. Maybe like the Easter eggs you'll do something different. Like go about the level different. I won't spoil any of those. But yeah.
For the audience listening, if you guys are curious on looking more into those Easter eggs, drop some comments down below, and we will consider doing that as another full episode.
Yeah, if it's like a harder badge, like maybe like requires you to play high level, like choose something that like is more your forte.
Great. Yeah, so you guys have talked about kind of planning your badges once you get to those harder ones, but are there any badges that you think are super underrated, or one that people don't realize are actually really hard?
So I have actually two for this one. So for underrated one, I personally think that Out for Blood would be a really good one. Out for Blood is basically just only play comp games for an entire session. And the reason why I say that is because most of the time when you go to Activate, you're focused on like progression, trying to get a better score, like trying to complete all the co-op levels, right? So like usually you don't touch many of the competitive games. But because I got this recently, when you go for Out for Blood and you just like go around a facility like trying out like all the comp games that you can do, it really gives you an incentive to try them. And there are some really fun competitive games that you can do. Like I think that they're like really underrated, and I love that it gives you an incentive to play them. And I think that there should be like a bit more of an incentive, honestly, to like kind of delve a bit more into that competitive side. As for like. For sure. Difficult grind, honestly, I think Completionist is actually surprisingly difficult to do. Which is just play every game in the facility once. And the reason why is because Activate doesn't really tell you what you've played and what you haven't played, and it also includes comp games. So, in my Completionist, I have one game in the entire Brampton facility, which is the second largest facility in Ontario, and I have no idea what it is. One game.
Oh, man. It seems simple, but I get what you're saying when it's like, you have to look for all the competitive, and especially with the competitive, it doesn't show you what you play or not, so that's totally cool. All right, so now you guys have mentioned like a hard or like an underrated badge. But what about a pretty easy badge that like people might be a little bit intimidated at first, but it's just like a badge that you think that every Activate player should aim for, and why?
For me, I referenced this earlier, and it is 100% the Deja Vu badges and the Number for Number badges. Same type, different flavor, you know? Like, say, for instance, I love Laser Maze. Graham loves Laser Maze. When you beat them, right, if you beat them all in one go, it's kind of like, okay, I have no reason to play this. Oh, wait, there's a badge that encourages me to replay this. I get to go back into that room and have fun. And you'll probably notice like a trend in this, and it's because I really rock with games, like video games, Activate games, that encourage replayability and backtracking. Because I love having the incentive to go back to places that you've already been for new purposes.
Totally. Yeah, I really like that. And I like how it brings kind of just a fresh perspective,
Mhm.
especially in those games that you've already beat. Because, you know, I think a lot of people, it's like, you know, even if you're like getting into Activate and like you feel like you're kind of at that point where it's like, I'm going to like really dive into this, or am I kind of just going to let it fizzle out? It's like if you played all the games that you enjoy and you're getting stuck on things that you don't enjoy as much, like it might seem like, oh, I even play certain games. But it's like, yeah, just being able to go and replay them in a new light, and it's just kind of like brings a whole other aspect to it. I really like your insight.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Ed there on the Deja Vu badges. They're a very good badge to start on, as like as long as you find one level you really like, it encourages you to like find your favorite game and see how well you can do on it, maybe go for a high score while getting badges at the same time. So it can be it's a good badge to get started on, as well as getting some progression as well at the same time. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. So here's a little fun one for you guys. You guys could create a brand new badge for Activate. What would it be, and how would players earn it?
All right, so my concept would probably be for Laser Relay. Because, you know, I love Laser Relay and I love having more excuses to do it. I would probably call it something like ahead of the curve, right? So basically in Laser Relay, like maybe like a mid-level, so you still have time for it, because you're going to need time for this instead of like having to constantly sprint to the button.
Yeah.
It's, so I would describe it as you start the level, you go hit the button first. I don't know if you lose a life if you hit the button first, or if it just tells you to hit the laser first. So you go to the other side of the room before hitting your laser, in every stage, and then you go back, hit your laser, and then hit the actual thing again. There's a good reason that's a mid-level, and it's that you actually have time to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
That'd also be very tiring.
Yeah, no, that is an absolutely awesome concept. I love that. That's, oh, like again, like you said, it would have to be a lower level, and if you're losing lives, that would become a little bit of an issue. But at the same time, like even if they could program it for that specific level, kind of like Nas, where you have to count down, you know, and it makes you not lose a life because it's that specific level. That'd be really cool. I like that a lot.
Because I know Climb does that, where if you don't hit all the
Go ahead.
blues, it's like, hey, you have to go back and hit the blues. So like if you miss one, so it'd be cool if like it does that with Laser Relay.
So the longest badge I think I went for that I actually completed in the end was the trivia Easter egg. I think I was with Sweaty Spaghetti and a few others, and I think we got some information on which level it was, but not anything else. So we were doing that level for I think close to an hour, and we were just about to give up, and then we finally got it, and thankfully we sunk the basket in the hoop in time, and we got the badge. So that was a very happy moment, I have to say.
Totally. Oh, that trivia badge. That took me forever.
Yeah.
Because the word bank is so big, or the question bank, and then like even if you throw it, yeah, and then it's like bloop, 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 and I'm like, no, you have to get another basket. You have to sink the basket when you get there. I know, that was super relieving to get as well. So I totally understand the hype for that. Okay, so what is the longest you guys have ever grinded for a single badge, and was it worth it?
I'm gonna probably say the TOC qualifier badge. Because this was before like I had like an active like strategy for scoring, so I was just kind of like trying to complete as many levels as I could because I didn't know how it worked. So I spent like 5 sessions just trying to qualify for that. And for something I'm probably currently grinding, probably 10 for 10. Because I don't have very many level 10s that I'm good at. Or like in rooms that I'm good at, right? So it's a little bit difficult to do. Like all that back to back.
Yeah, that's completely fair. That's still, I have 12 badges left, and that's one on my list. So totally understand that. I think one really good one that I know I would suggest for any like hardcore players looking for something fun is Riddle 6 or 7. I think it's 7. You have to go and play all the level 7s that start with S back to back without losing. Oh, that one is really hard, but really fun. I mean, you got like strategy in there, and spellinator, and supermarket for rooms that have scan, and strategy, and I said that already. Statues, just yeah, no, it's lots of fun.
Oh, supermarket. That sounds awful. Because level 7s.
It's amazing.
No, it's not that. Level
I love
7s.
supermarket.
Level 7s in general are difficulty spikes. So, level 4 and level 7 are like the main difficulty spikes I noticed among the rooms. Level 7 supermarket solo was very, very difficult. And supermarket scales off of how many people you have. Like Laser Maze, the more people you have, the harder it is.
Yeah. No, for someone starting like badge hunting, I know you have touched a little bit on like the deja vu badges as well as the number for numbers, but what would be your best piece of advice kind of aside from that?
Yeah, so when I started getting a bit more serious about badges, I hadn't done a lot of the deja vus yet, and Sweaty Spaghetti, who I was with, suggested I do the deja vus as well, along with the number for number badges. It's a very easy way to get two sets of badges at once. As for the deja vus, you just have to win the same level in a row, and then for the number badges, you just have to keep playing the same level of game, and you can kind of just like keep going in that pattern up the numbers and complete 2 badges at once. So that's what worked for me.
For me, actually, I do have 3 pieces of advice. Actually, it's not as much like for like looking for specific badges. It's more of like a general thing of like looking for badges. You know, like how to go about it. So one, filter what you don't have. Right. There's a screen like in every Activate. That you can check your profile, check what badges you have and what you don't have. You can filter to what you don't have, like complete. Filter to the incomplete, so that you know what you need to do. Second, take pictures of what you need to do. So you can actually take pictures of what you want to do. So you can kind of like keep it at the back of your head. And then like refer to it later when you go into like your next session before your time actually starts like counting down, right? So you can be like, okay, I need this. Okay, great. And then you can kind of formulate a game plan for your next like session. And then number 3, prioritize your preferences. It's like prioritize the stuff that you like, the games that you like to do, the games that you want to do. Because one, Activate, it's like a fun place, right? It's like you want to have fun doing it. You don't want to actually like not have fun doing like your achievements, right? Like every other like thing that's fun, it can be a little bit tedious at times, right? But it's like for the most part, just prioritize what you have like fun doing.
Alrighty, so just for the last little bit here, we're gonna go into a little bit of a rapid fire round, like I usually end my podcast with, but we'll keep them kind of like one question about you guys and one question about you guys, but a little more badge related. But again, it's kind of a rapid fire, so we just want to hear kind of what kind of comes off the top of your head, and then we can elaborate on it a little bit from there. Does that sound good? Ready?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty. So I'll start with Graeme. Graeme, what's your favorite game in Activate?
Okay. Well, for me, I have to say, I like the relay games. Specifically, I think Mega Grid Relay. It's so much fun to just like run around the room, try to make it to the other button in time while having to like dodge the things on the ground, the reds, and I don't know, it's so much fun to like work with friends to try and survive those rooms, especially the higher ones. And hide relay is also, that's like the first relay game I think I ever played, and I really enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, okay, so this one will be for Ed. What's one non-activate hobby that you love just as much?
Non-activate hobby, 100% paintball. I love paintball. I got into it when I was 12. So I've been playing it for like almost like 8 years. And actually no, I'm moving on to the 9th year actually. And yeah, no, I love paintball. Like I love like doing crazy stuff. The people at my local field like also kind of they like I kind of have a reputation of like being like the one crazy guy that everybody wants on their team. No, I toot my own horn, but like I literally handicap myself, and people are like, "Still, this guy's like awesome." Because like I literally like I just run around with a pistol, right? Like a paintball pistol, whereas everybody has like 200 rounds like in their things, and I just have like 8.
Yes. Oh, back to Graeme. What's the hardest badge you've ever earned?
Oh, well, I think it would have to be, I don't know if it's considered luck or difficult, but like the trivia one I mentioned earlier, that one took a lot of dedication and effort to keep going to try and get it, especially when it's been that much time and you don't even know if it's possible. You start to doubt, but it's possible, so.
Yeah, and then back to Ed. If you could design a custom badge called Kwispy Mode, what would it be and why?
Kwispy Mode. Oh, that's a name. Well, I like I said, I like being flashy, right? It would probably have to be like something that screams like me, right? So I originally was thinking like something like something that has to do with like maybe jumping out the walls with Mega Grid, because like I tend to do that a lot. So I was originally thinking something like be like order up 7, without touching any green tiles. And then I looked at the list of badges and I'm like, wait a minute, this is already a thing called Safety Second, except with a different level.
Yeah.
Safety Second is level 9. And I'm like, well, they beat me to it. So I came up with a new idea that actually kind of screams more me, even though it's not exactly more in my preferences. Because I'm not really a big fan of the laser games that involve the blasters, mostly just because they're like in one place. I like having freedom of movement, right? But at the same time, I also like paintball, and like that would scream me. So because I like running like stuff like paintballs or like pistols and paintball, right? And I have like dual wielded this stuff before too. It's actually insane. I was thinking like maybe like have like one like with 1 or 2 people where it's possible. Be it like a high level zap game using double the amount of like blasters, right? So it's like if you have 2 people, use like 4 if you like can manage to like do solo, like say if it's for like TOC practice, because TOC practice lets you like do solo, right? For that. But you can also just do that just as well with 2 people. So like if you can do that with like you like going akimbo, like dual wielding the pistols, but like a high level zap game, right? So it's like actually a challenge. That'd be cool.
I like how you add that little bit of a personal aspect to the badge. Pretty.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. Well, guys, this has been an absolutely awesome discussion. Graeme, Ed, thanks so much for being on the podcast and sharing your badge wisdom with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I had a blast.
Totally. Yeah. For anyone out there looking to step up your badge game, I hope that you picked up some great tips and insights today. And stay tuned for more episodes focused on badges coming up soon. Enjoyed the episode? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay activated.
You've been listening to the Ready, Set, Activate podcast. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on the next episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, keep activating.